Let's go, folks. Time for the Gibby Show.
How you doing, baseball fans? Welcome to a very special edition of the Gibby Show, presented by Miller Lite, the official beer of Major League Baseball and the Gibby Show. I'm John Arezzi. Joining me, as always, is the man who has been in the news this past week. We'll discuss that. He's the former two-time manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, a member of the 1986 world champion New York Mets, co-author of still the best-selling baseball book in Canada, Gibby Tales of a Baseball Lifer. He narrates that audio version of the book as well. And a man whose career seems to appear to have come full circle, which we will discuss today here on the show. Gibby, but before we get into the news circulating throughout baseball regarding you, I hope you and your family had a wonderful Thanksgiving down in San Antonio.
I'm still bloated, dude. I ate so much doggone turkey. Turkey and Miller Lights, man, they get you after a while, you know. I slept like a baby. Now, we had a tremendous time yet. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Turkey and Miller Lights, they go hand in hand. But you know what? I think it might be my favorite holiday. You know, I just love the food. I just like getting together, obviously, with family when you get a chance to. And so we had a good one.
Yeah, it's filled with food and family and Miller Lights and football. Everything. Thanksgiving is really a lot of people say it's their favorite holiday, and we'll get into a bunch of stuff here today, Gibby, and it was really a week of no news for the Toronto Blue Jays, first and foremost. I mean, probably the biggest news that came out of the Toronto Blue Jays camp was the 2024 Hall of Fame ballot came out, and Batista, for the first time, was on that ballot. So that was kind of cool to see his name on there. So we wish him well. And bat flip heard around the world. And so anyway, that's kind of cool news. Yeah, so it was kind of like a slow news week. Everything's going to be heating up. Baseball winter meetings are in a week here in Nashville. A lot of trades are being rumored. Of course, free agents are out there. Everyone's wondering where Ohtani's going, where Yamamoto's going, where, you know, is Soto going to be traded? You know, there's so much going on. But even with the slow news week for the Jays, there is a big story out there regarding their former manager and star of this show, none other than John Gibbons. We'll get into that. We'll also have another Gabbin with Gibby, brought to you by Tim Hortons, where we welcome former Jay Devon Travis to the show. And inspired by our friends at Miller Lite, we'll have another roast and toast. But Gibby, let's get right to the leadoff. And this is going to be an interesting one for sure. This past Wednesday night. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This past Wednesday night, I was sitting on my couch. All right. It's the night before Thanksgiving. I get a call from my nephew, Dominic, in New York. He goes, "Did you hear the news? The news is breaking." I was like, "What news?" And he goes, "Gibby to the Mets." And wow. I was like, the bench coach opportunity. Reports began to circulate. I immediately went on the social media that the Mets had decided on the bench coach to assist new manager Carlos Mendoza. They had been looking for an experienced veteran with MLB managing experience. The news broke that they decided to give you the position. Now, I want to preface all of this by telling everyone out there watching on YouTube, listening to the podcast on the platforms, we have to be mindful of what you can say and cannot say here, because the Mets still need to make an official announcement, expected to come sometime later this week. But first of all, Gibby, we have to say congratulations on this potential big news in your life.
Yeah, Johnny, you know, I could really say is, you know, I have talked to him. I'm very impressed with everybody over there. It could happen. Nothing's official yet. I mean, it kind of happened quick. So until everything's in line and it's official, you know, you really can't say anything. So But I spent a lot of years with them Mets over there as a player, and then short, very not a lot, a long time as a player in the big leagues, but in the organization, and of course got my coaching career started over there. So I'm very fond of that place, and
Yeah.
some of the people I've talked to, well, actually all of them have been really really professional, and hey, they're all about winning, man. That's what it's all about. So hopefully it happens, and then and if that's the case, life rolls on, right?
Yeah, it's official when it becomes official, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Until then, life rolls on. But when did you first, at least, hear from the team? How did this all unfold? If you can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean everything happened kind of quick. When I first saw that Carlos was hired, I knew he'd be the first time managing in a tough town. There's no question about that. I thought, because I had entertained some in the past, maybe get back on the coaching staffs and in the bench coach role. And I always thought, well, it'd have to be a perfect setup. The guy I really liked that I feel I could work with, and so we ended up touching base because they were looking for somebody with some experience, and I had that, like we are talking about, I had that connection. So I spoke with a few people. Went great. Like I said, though, until it's official, it's not official. But I'm very impressed with those guys over there. And then Carlos, first class dude, and good background. He's been doing it with the Yankees. He knows what it's all about. The
Hmm.
bright lights of Broadway. He's just a good baseball guy, and if I'm his pick, I'd be honored.
Yeah. Well, it's very exciting. I mean, let's go back. Let's go way back. You were signed by the Mets organization,
Yes,
1980. You were
another
drafted.
another first round pick gone bad. That was me.
Well, not if you look at the entire breadth of your career. I mean, but you were drafted at 24th that year, first round, following Darryl Strawberry was the number one pick, and then Billy Bean came after that. And you were just 18 at the time. You made your debut in Kingsport, Tennessee, in the Appalachian League, and then you moved over to Class A Shelby, where that's where we first met. And you spent you spent the entire 1981 season there, parts of 82, and then they moved you up to Jackson Double A, then the Triple A, Tidewater in 83, where you got a chance to work with Doc Gooden, and yeah, Davy Johnson was there. I mean, it was kind of that nucleus of the great Mets teams from 84, 85, 86 there at 83 with you there. You were actually pegged as the catcher of the future for the Mets. I mean, you made the team in 84, and then you were sidelined. There was an injury that happened right was it towards the end of spring training?
Yeah, last couple of days, but yeah, that was that's all part of it. You know how that works.
It's part of the story. Yeah. So anyway, you got a chance to play a little bit in '84 for the team, and you spent the majority of the year there at AAA, and then in '85 the same thing, and then in '86, that magical year, the Mets won the World Championship, but dominated baseball really for the regular season. You did get a call up. In August of that year, when Gary Carter had injured his thumb, I think he was playing first base at the time or something, or third
Yeah.
base, and he got that injury. And then you came up, and you made a bit of an impact. I mean, that game-ending double play in San Diego with Dykstra and yourself, that you rolled over and then got the double play at third base. I mean, that was one of the most exciting plays of that season, anyway. But you were part of it, and you were part of a World Championship team. So even though you might have not had a full season in '86, you were there, you witnessed it, you were part of it. What was it like being part of the 1986 New York Mets, especially since you went through the minors with a lot of these guys?
Yeah, Johnny, well, that's the ultimate. I think everybody's first goal is to get drafted, right? And then make it to the big leagues. That's what everybody wants to do. And then once you get there, and wow, now it's all about winning, right? And there was just to play such a very very small part on for a couple months on such a great team, a crazy team, but a great team, one of the greatest ever, probably. That was the ultimate to me. Even because with I had such a short lived career, that's something I can always hold on to, right? I was with the best team in baseball. Uh, it was a unique group. I came up through the minor leagues with a lot of those guys. They made a great decision when they hired Davey Johnson. I was a big fan. Of course, Davey gave him a big break, and then that didn't work. And then, of course, after the end of the '84 season, they traded for Gary Carter, which was a brilliant move. He was the best catcher in the game. So that put a kibosh on a lot of things over there. But it's something I'll cherish forever. And then eventually, like you said, my playing days, I could have hung around AAA and been a catcher because I had some major league experience for a number of years. But after the '91 season, the Mets called and offered me the roving catching instructor because my old coach was retired. He was a little bit older at that point. And so I took that job, and that's kind of how it all started. I figured, you know what? This playing's not working out too good. Let me try coaching. And so I was over there from
You had quite a
92.
run there with several teams. I mean, but that was kind of this transition, and I'm explaining all of this too because we have the vast majority of people listening to this podcast and watching it on YouTube are all diehard Toronto Blue Jays fans, and the Blue Jays are always going to be in your heart. Obviously, what a legacy you have with the organization. Uh, so I'm kind of going through this with you because of your history with this potential opportunity with the Mets because you spent a lot of years there. I mean, you toiled in the minor leagues and you learned your craft. And when you became a coach, the roving catching coach, you did that for a few years. Then you became a minor league skipper and worked your way up the organization, winning in that organization from the lowest level to the AAA level. So you really you cut your eye teeth as managing in the Mets minor league system.
Yeah, hey, I'll always be a Blue Jay and I'll always be a Met. They gave me my start over there,
Yeah.
both as a player and as a coach. And I was fortunate that I had some really good players along the way. And then really what happened, I spent my final 3 years coaching over there in AAA with the Norfolk Tides. And there was never an opportunity in the big leagues to go coach. And so for family reasons, I thought I need to get a job closer to home. My kids were starting to get a little older. And then, of course,
Yeah.
JP Ricciardi, an old roommate of mine, of ours down there in Shelby, you were talking about,
Mhm.
gets the GM job in Toronto, and he brought me over, and that's to Toronto. And that's how it all started, And so I've really had two homes in baseball,
Yeah.
with the Mets and the Blue Jays. And I've the Blue Jays, gave me that opportunity to coach in the big leagues and manage in the big leagues, and that's really how I made my name in this game. And so it's I've been really fortunate. I really have, and baseball been very very good to me. Remember that? What was that? There was that
Chico
old skit. I
Esquala.
don't remember. Yeah, that's
Chico
right. Was that
Esquala.
Saturday Night? That was Saturday Night
Live.
Live. What? That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I remember that well. And then and here I am now. So we'll see what happens. And not for sure exactly what the future holds. I'm
Right.
hoping for something, but
Yeah.
we'll find out.
Hey, everybody knows about my Mets fandom. I mean, my first game in 1966, I fell in love with the team, and it's been every single year throughout my life. They have been such a big part of my life. So for me personally, if this does happen for you officially, I am so excited for you, and it's just kind of a cool thing, when we met in Shelby in '81, and number one draft pick. I mean, I felt like anything can happen in baseball, but you know, we're looking at you as the Mets catcher of the future down there. And anyway, your career has been wonderful, and hopefully it's going to continue really soon with an official announcement. So we're excited, Gibby. We really are excited. It's kind of cool. It really is.
Well, it's funny that in 1980, you said, Strawberry's number one in the nation. He went on to have a great playing career. A lot of chaos in his life, but really a
Hmm.
great career. Billy Bean, who was picked before, went on to be Mr.
Pretty big.
Moneyball, the Hollywood star, and all that, and very successful. As a
Yeah.
general manager. And then the other
Yeah.
guy became a coach. So I don't know if you consider that a good record on a first round. You get 3 selections, but we all hung
I
around the
would
game
think
for a while.
Yeah, I would think that those names, yourself and Billy and Straw, all made an impact in the game in various ways. So yeah, it was a
Various
good
ways.
draft for the Mets. It was a good draft for the Mets there in 1980 for sure. I want to remind everybody you are listening to the Gibby Show, presented by our friends at Miller Lite. And wow, Thanksgiving, Miller Lite, watching. I guess you were watching your team cracking open a few Miller Lights over the Thanksgiving break.
The Cowboys. That's right. Hey, Cowboys having a good year, but they usually do. It's come playoff time. You got to figure out what's going on. But yeah, hey, I think that Miller Lights is sponsor them down there too. They you see it everywhere.
Hey, they are the light beer that tastes like a real beer. Any time is Miller time, and I'm sure there'll be more Millers being cracked open as things progress for you. And the holidays are coming, and holiday parties, and could be a lot of reasons to celebrate by having a Miller Lite. Because anytime is Miller time. They are the official beer of Major League Baseball and the Gibby Show.
Corner blues, sticky floors, weekdays that feel like weekends. You never forget the way some things taste. Miller Lite, great taste, 90 calories. Tastes like Miller time.
And Gibby, since Wednesday, the posts on social media, stories written in the baseball world, from Toronto to New York. I mean, every major publication, MLB.com. One thing that has been noticed, and this is from the fans also on Twitter, on Instagram, it's been overwhelmingly in support of this potential move. Everyone says it's potentially a great hire, and from everyone out there, to the Blue Jay fans, to the Met fans that are hopeful to welcome you back from to the place where you started. It's been universal love and approval for you. And I know you're really modest. You always have been. But can you share with us a little bit about some of that outpouring of congratulations and love that you've received since this unofficial report came out?
Yeah, John, it's been incredible. Everybody, how these things even come out before anything's official. It's crazy, right? But I've got such a great response and contacted by friends and family, and I've been treated so much better than I deserve. That's for darn sure. And especially since we started doing the show, and then of course my time there coaching in Toronto. The people have been really good to me, and I'll never forget that. Like I said, better than I deserve. But I've been true to him. I've tried to be true to him, and always gave him my best effort, and like him.
Yeah.
I tell everybody all the time, I feel Canadian, and without insulting the Canadians, I really mean that. So
Yeah,
but
well,
it's been incredible.
response. Yeah, look at the response that when you were up there for the Batista induction, and the level of excellence, and when you walked out on the field and that place erupted. We were talking before we started that a big wrestler came back to WWE named CM Punk, and the crowd exploded with applause, and it was kind of reminiscent of when I watched you walk out onto the field in Toronto back in the summer when the fans were just so excited to see you. So the love is certainly there on the and listen, not to get too far ahead, but there is a series in September where the Metropolitans are going to be visiting Toronto up there at the Rogers Center, and that is could be in the middle of some potential pennant races. So that's kind of exciting to kind of forecast what's going to be happening down the road. So, what can I say? We're excited.
Check out that nice new stadium.
I know it looks. I've been seeing the videos and the construction, and they said they're turning it from a stadium to a ballpark. That's what the PR line is.
It's incredible what they can do. The engineers and the workers now, they can take what they had there, and I really love the old place, but the new place is really really special, and see it's even going to be better next year. So then it'll be there for a long time, and the Torontonians, the rest of the Canadians up there, they got something to be proud of.
It could be a very, very exciting 2020.
They are spending a lot of toonies on that thing, though. By the way,
they are
loonies and toonies.
Exactly. They certainly are. Well, that's going to wrap up the lead off. Now it's time for Gabbing with Gibby, brought to you by Tim Hortons. And Gibby, once again, we have to talk about Tim's. They're always out there with new products. With the customers just flock to them in droves all the time. And this holiday season, they have some tasty beverages and baked goods on their menu for the holidays. And get this, Gibby, non-alcoholic Bailey's flavored Tim Hortons classics. And they have several of them to choose from the Bailey's cream coffee, Bailey's latte, the cold brew with Bailey's flavored infused foam, the Bailey's iced cap. I mean, there's so many to choose from. And for a limited time, they put a Bailey's flavored twist on one of its most popular donuts. And get this, it's a non-alcoholic Bailey's Boston Cream Dream Donut with a non-alcoholic Bailey's flavored cream filling, sprinkling of chocolate curls, and that is something that you want to rush and go out there and get one of those. It sounds really, really good.
Hey, yeah, hey, you know the best thing about Tim Hortons, nobody does more for the community than they do. You know, they're always involved with that, giving back, and that's the number one thing. But I tell you what, their menus, and they constantly change it, but they don't sit back and rest on their laurels, man. They just keep putting it out.
Yes, that is correct, and there's so much more to talk about with them. And once again, we thank Tim's for being here and sponsoring Gabbing with Gibby. On today's Gabbing with Gibby, brought to you by Tim Hortons, we bring on a former member of the Jays who played for Gibby from 2015 to 2018. As Toronto's second baseman, he was drafted by the Detroit Tigers in the 2012 amateur draft and was traded to the Jays in November of 2014 for outfielder Anthony Gose. Hopefully I got that name pronunciation correct. He wound up spending his entire big league career with Toronto. It's a pleasure to welcome Devon Travis to this week's Gabbing with Gibby. Devon, great to meet you.
Great to meet you too. It's so awesome to be on here. I got to be honest, when Gibby started this, I said to myself right out the bat, I said, I know my man Gibby better get me on here one day. And I'm so happy to be here. I could talk about John Gibbons as a baseball guy. I can talk about John Gibbons as a man for as long as this thing goes. So I'm just happy to be on here and chopping it up with you guys.
Hey, whoever's watching that, hey, I gotta almost echo that. This is one of my favorite people on the earth, man, that I've met. And forget the baseball stuff, just the one of the best human beings, cares about everybody, gives you a great effort every day. And now when we add in the baseball end of it, where we came together, it was going to be an all-star. The injury bug, wouldn't leave him alone, but he did so many good things for us and helped get us to the postseason, in those 2 years. And we're honored to have him on here. This guy, hey, now you're a media darling, right? You're doing the baseball, college baseball, right? And coaching, man. Is there anything you don't do?
Oh man, I tell you, I never had any idea I'd want to go on TV and talk about baseball, but it's actually been a ton of fun, and it's given me a little bit of an interesting perspective of the game, and I definitely got humbled a bit because I thought I knew baseball really well, and I think I still do, but man, talking about that live is crazy as heck.
Hey, it gets a little easier the farther you're away from that field now too, doesn't it?
Well, you know what? I mean, yeah, it's been humbling. I thought I would be able to just jump in and talk about the game and, oh man, these guys on TV, I can do that. And I tell you what, after my first day I did it, I finished the day. I went right to sleep. I was so damn tired. And I told my wife and my parents, I said, I have never been so nervous leading up to any event or game I played in compared to that TV gig. So, yeah, it's been humbling. It's been a ton of fun.
Hey, man, the more you do it, the better it gets, the easier it gets now, You know what? Then they start really critiquing you. You sit there, look at like all this, NFL announcers, Collinsworth and Troy Aikman. Man, they hammer them dudes. So get ready, it's coming, man. It's coming.
I know. I'm like afraid to open up my Twitter after I did a game on ESPN. I'm like, oh man, the world hates me.
No, hey, we'll never hate you. Hey, what do you got, Johnny?
Well, you said something really interesting in the beginning here. You say you could talk for days about Gibby as a manager and as a man. So tell us what it was like to be a player working with John as the skipper, and also that personal relationship that you have developed with him over the years.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I got traded to Toronto, like you said, in the off season of 2014, leading into 2015, and I was a 23-year-old kid who was just traded north of the border. I did not even have a passport when I first got traded. I'll never forget Alex Anthopoulos saying, "Hey, you got a passport, right?" And I'm like, I don't even know how to get a passport. So, anyways, that's how it started. And I just think about my first spring training and how nervous I was to walk in that locker room full of personality. You got Jose Batista, you got Jose Reyes, you got Edwin Encarnacion, you got Russell Martin, you got guys everywhere. And then, there's this little guy that's probably got no business being in that locker room, trying to fit in. And I think as a player and as someone that can look back on my career, the head guy in that locker room is your manager, because he's the person who has the ability to set the tone and set the personality of the team. And I think Gibby, who is his most special trait, is he's himself. There's coaches who have to try to be different people to manage certain guys. Gibby is Gibby every single day. Win, loss, he walks through the locker room. He talks smack going by. He just makes you feel like you belong. And I think that's the thing that I feel the most grateful for Gibby was every single day. From the first day I was number 68 or 74 in spring training, he made me feel like I belonged. And that's a big part of fitting into a team as a young guy.
Hey, Dev, you say, well, I was the same guy every day. When you showed up, you helped us finally win, man. So I was probably a little better guy, man. It was easier to walk because we're putting more W's on that board, man.
So I didn't get to meet the real Gibby. I got you.
Oh, that old miserable old dude. No, you didn't. No, yeah.
Hey, 17, 18, then you got humbled.
Oh, dude. Hey, we all need get a little humble pie every now and then, man. That never hurt anybody.
Right? No kidding. No kidding.
Well, you made the Jays in 2015 after a great spring training. I mean, being named the starting second baseman. Did Gibby break the news to you that you made the team? Tell us about how that unfolded.
Oh yeah, I was realizing it was starting to get to the end. I was not even on the 40-man roster yet, and I knew I was having a pretty good spring training. I got off to a terrible start, by the way. I remember thinking, I think I was 0 for 10, 0 for 12, and we were in Clearwater, and I got an 0-2 breaking ball right down the middle and hit a ground ball up the middle, and Tim Leeper pinched me and said, "Don't stop now." And I still credit Leeper. I'm like, Leap, I'm not kidding you. You're the only person that kept me going every day, because I was looking around thinking, man, Gibby thinks I stink. Jose Reyes thinks I stink. Everybody thinks I stink. I can't even hit the dang ball forward. So, yeah, it was the crazy start, and then I kind of just blacked out the rest of spring training. I was sitting at my locker. DeMarlo Hale came and grabbed me, I believe, and said, "Hey, Gibby wants to talk to you." Well, I've read plenty of stories on social media and heard stories on ESPN that this is normally the time where you figure out if you're making the team or not. So I walk in. It's Alex Anthopoulos, Gibby leaning back in his chair, all comfortable. My heart, I can't even damn talk. It's beating so damn fast. And then DeMarlo's in the corner. And I'm trying to look and get a read like, okay, someone smile, give me something, nothing yet. And then, bam, Gibby goes, "All right, Dan, well, you had a great spring training. Told you coming in, we're going to give you every chance to win the job. And, yeah, just wanted to tell you, congratulations, buddy. You made the team." And I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know if I cried. I don't know if I screamed. I don't know if I went and hugged him. Yeah, it was the best day. That was the best day of my life, because you wait your entire life to make your dream come true. And yeah, man, when Gibby told me those words, I just remember going to call my mom and dad. I know I cried on that phone call, and it was a special day.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Dev, I think for the plan from the get-go was you're going to be on the team anyway. We got you. I think it was Jimmy Leland, was manager of the Tigers. I even talked to Jimmy, and he said, "Hey, this dude can hit, man. You'll love this kid." Just like everybody says about you, right? Once they get to know you. But the report we got was, "Hey, this dude can flat out hit, right? He's solid around on the bag as a second baseman. He's got some things he's got to work on there." But I'm telling you, you came in, you were a damn good second baseman too. I'm going, I heard you need to work on this. It's pretty damn good to me. And then, but typical when you say you got off to a slow start, as long as you're around this game, there's nothing, that's what happens. Especially coming in, you're trying to make a team, you put pressure on. But all you got to do is look at somebody's swing, man, and watch some batting practice. You can tell somebody get hit or not. You have the shortest stroke, and I think it was the middle of May at that time. You were leading our team in home runs, RBIs, batting average, just about everything. I'm going, the big boys, Donaldson, Hosey and all those guys say, let's go, boys, man. This new second baseman's, man. But then the injury bug hit you, and I know you don't like talking about this stuff, but you were snake bit. You were one of those guys, that you busted it every day. You played hard every day, and you couldn't get away from it, and it kept. And I told everybody, this guy's going to be an all-star, so when you look back on your career now, you feel good about it. I'm sure there's a little bit of frustration because, your body let you down, but I would hope you feel good about what you accomplished. Am I right?
Gibby, you're so right. I look back and I can't help but smile. I look back and I can't help but think about the younger version of me that, from the time I was 3-4 years old, I knew I wanted to be a professional baseball player. And I got to make that dream come true. Now I'm just so grateful. I now as I'm getting older, I'm only 32, but I look back on life and I realize how many people it truly takes to get to where you want to be in life. And I think about all the sacrifices that my parents made. When I was a kid, I realized now how expensive life is. I can't imagine how much all the baseball tournaments were. Then I think about time. My parents both worked full-time jobs. My dad worked nights. He was a detective. My mother was a nurse. I think about my college days. They didn't miss one home series in 3 years when I was in college, and it's a 6-hour drive and Friday to Sunday. They were making that every week. And I'm just so grateful for everything that I was given. I felt like I had the ability to play a long time. I also look back at my career and think about how lucky I was to even be able to sneak in 4 years on the field and almost 5 years of service time, and so I just try to see all the positives, and I'm grateful for all the people I got to meet along the way, and I'm just proud. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful for everything I've been given, and I got to play on TV, man. I gave my parents the ability to sit on their couch and watch me play every day instead of having to make a 6-hour drive. So I truly got to live my dream.
Hey, I met your parents. I think it was in New York the first time. I was eating next door. There was a little deli across the street where we stayed, and you guys came in. That was the first time I met it.
Opening day.
Was that opening day?
It was either opening day or the day after.
Okay, and I'm thinking, now I know. After meeting, I said, now I know how this kid turned out so good, man. And then you go, of course, the sacrifices they made for you, and you got a sister too, don't you?
Yeah. I tell you, my sister's the best athlete out of all of us. She just didn't want to know part of it.
She went with the brains, man. Huh?
Something like that, or the partying. I don't know.
Is she at Florida State or too? She go to Florida State?
Yeah, she's a senior. She's about to graduate. She's a fantastic young girl. That's my baby right there.
Now, are they twins? Your sister and your brother?
They're 2 years apart. Jordan just got the damn stay in college for forever. That lucky kid.
Hey, for those who don't know, your brother's a quarterback for Florida State now, right? And he got injured the other night. You want to give a little rundown on to the people listening what's going on with him?
Yeah, man. My little brother is like my best friend. I think the coolest thing about it all is he's my younger brother, but he's someone that I almost look up to because of everything that he's been through, in his career, and he's had to work for everything he's gotten up to this point, and I'm just so proud of him. But yeah, I don't know how long it was ago. It's about 9 days ago. He's running out for his last start in Doak Campbell Stadium, Florida State University. It was his dream since he was a kid. He never talked about being a professional athlete. He just wanted to be the quarterback at Florida State. And now he's running out for his last home game. We're in the first quarter. Breaks the stick run like he's done since he was a kid. Cuts, gets tackled from the back. I always watch when he falls because I'm nervous as hell up there in the stands. And I watch him try to get up, and he didn't get up. And then he looked down to his left, and his his ankle was dislocated and facing the wrong way. And it was a very tough day for our family. It's been very challenging times. I feel like my parents are used to this at this point. But he's going to have surgery tomorrow. He's going to get his leg fixed. We'll find out all the specifics really after the surgery. But, yeah, just a traumatic event. I feel so sad for my brother, and it's never the way you want your college career to end. But I believe that injuries and setbacks make you a greater man. So I know that he'll come out greater from all this.
Yes, he will. He'll keep on, man. Because, hey, one thing your family, you know what? They know they're tough. They keep pushing forward. They're thankful for everything they got. You can just tell. When I listen to him, his interviews post game on the show, and I know you, and I met your parents, and the Travises are survivors, man. You ain't gonna beat them. You ain't gonna beat
Keep pushing, baby. That's life. That's life.
That's right.
Tim's new non-alcoholic Bailey's flavored holiday menu. Enjoy the classic taste of the holidays anytime with a creamy Bailey's flavored latte. Celebrate the season with the taste of the holidays with Tim's new non-alcoholic Bailey's flavored holiday menu.
Johnny, what do you got, brother?
I just want to go back to that 2015 and 16, if I could. I mean, you were talking with John about getting together with him in Manhattan. I guess that was opening day, April the 6th, if I'm not mistaken, and it was against the Yankees, a special day for you. I mean, your first MLB hit was a home run, right? So that had to be such a cool experience. I mean, just like debuting in Yankee Stadium, and there you go. That must have been very cool.
Oh, that was so amazing, man. Opening day, I remember waking up, my stomach was flipping. It was about 5 minutes before the anthem, and I was sitting in the bathroom. That's how nervous I was. I remember running out to the field. First time I took the field for official warm-ups at Yankee Stadium. Wow, what a day. I got to be honest, and it's, I feel like people get mad when they hear this, but I really don't remember a lot about the day after I hit the homer. I remember walking my first at bat, touching first base, standing next to Mark Teixeira, and be like, whoa, this is real. I made it. Then I struck out my next at bat. I remember splitter in the dirt, and then truly I got a fastball from Chasen Shreve right down the middle. I hit it, and I sprinted. I don't know how fast, but it's got to be close to the record around the bases. I think I made it in under 14 seconds. Got to the dugout. Hey, Gibby gave me a smack. He's one of the only ones that gave me some love, and then everyone else blanked me. And I don't remember what happened after that. I went to dinner at Quality Italian, but that, after finding out I made the team, that became the coolest day of my life. Only thing that sucks is I never got that damn ball back. But I got
where'd the
video
home run
proof that I
go?
hit it.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go out that day? I can't remember. What part
Well,
of the field?
what? I hit it to left center, and my family went to go get it from the guy, and he wouldn't give it up. And by the way, stupid guy, I thought my career was going to turn into something. Nice call. I think he got offered like tickets to like Legend Club tickets to a Yankee game, and Alex Rodriguez signed back, something along those lines, and he wouldn't give that ball up. But I never got that ball back. I got YouTube.
Hey, you know what? You hit the left center, man, the deepest part of that park, man. You didn't go that short right field wall, did you? No, you went out there where the big boys go.
Gibby, I think that was my last hit in Yankee Stadium.
No, come on. Hey, another thing.
Sabathia, baby.
Hey, one other thing. Hey, you always ran balls out. You never jogged around the bases, for crying out loud. You'd be so out of place in the big leagues now, man, the way you hustle.
I was afraid my dad would whoop my butt after the game, so I made sure
Exactly, man.
Only one way to play this game. That's the right way. Only one way.
That's right. And you did it all the time like that, you know. And you know, you rubbed off on guys, you know. Yeah, you really did. All right, pal. Well, Johnny, you got anything more for him? We got to let him go here pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing now? What's your future? You know, I heard you guys talking a little bit about maybe a venture you're getting into. So why don't you tell everybody what's going on with you now, and what are you planning over the next year or so? Sounds exciting.
Yeah, I've been working with the Braves the last, how long has that been? 21, 22, 23, 3 years. Alex Anthopoulos, obviously running the show. One of the best men in baseball, at least in my interactions, especially with, you know, front office people. Just an amazing guy, great culture over there. But I'm finishing up my 3rd year. I've been doing a little bit of TV, calling games for ESPN, college baseball. Been a ton of fun, very humbling, like I said. And me and my buddy, John Bostic, he's the owner of this facility that we're opening up. And back when we were young in high school and we grew up together, we always talked about giving back to the kids when we were done playing. And it's a pretty special thing we got going on down here. And we're going to be able to grow the game of baseball in the way that we think it should be ran. Just help these young men in the area that we grew up. And I love the game of baseball so much. And, you know, it's going to be a lot of fun. I always said my second career will be better than my first career. And I think giving back to the game has been a lot more rewarding than my playing experiences in itself. So very excited about that.
Well, where's it going to be located, Dev?
It's in Wellington, Florida. So right where we grew up, like Western West Palm Beach. I don't think I'm allowed to speak of the specific details, but I'll tell you, it's pretty cool stuff. Though.
Hey, this is going to be watched by a couple people anyway.
Yeah, right.
So don't let any top secrets out of there, bro.
I got you, baby.
Bostic, man, I know that name. How do I know his name?
He played in the NFL for, I think, he just finished up his 10th year, just retired. One of my best buddies. And
where'd he go? Who did he play with? Gosh, I could see him. Who did he play with?
Let's see. He went. I should know this. Went University of Florida, second round of the Bears, Patriots, Steelers, Redskins, Lions. So,
maybe
with a lot of teams.
I might have known from the Patriots because Butterfield.
No, you met him.
I did.
He came up in 15 to one of the games. I brought him in the locker room. I brought him into you to say hello. He had on the damn Gators gear. Anyway, yeah, you met him.
Okay.
Good guy.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? It does kind of ring a bell a little bit. Okay. Well, good for you guys, man. Hey, you know what, Deb? That kind of sums up who you are. You know, you're giving back to the community. You understand. You know, more people ought to do that. You know, I could stand to do a little bit more of that myself. You know, but I think that's the guys that have been given so much. Well, earn things along the way. They go back, you know, and they don't forget those things, and they go about and help their community and the less privileged and things like that. that's what life's all about, you know. And the fact that you're doing that does not surprise me one bit, man. And I'm proud of you, pal. Hey, like I said, whatever you choose to do, you're going to be a success. You know what? And we're glad. This could end up being my last show on this thing right here. You know what?
Yeah.
So you know what I always say. No, I always say. No, hey, save the best for last, man. Right? You heard that statement many times, right?
My God.
That's why you're here. So anyway,
awesome. Hey, congratulations. I'm so happy you're back in this game. You do not know how bad the game of baseball needs you, damn it. It needs you. So I'm so happy you're back.
Hey, Devin, it's not official yet, but it could happen.
Okay, well, whenever it does happen, one person's celebrating right down here in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And guess what? We're going to dinner because that's only 30 minutes from my house. Mets spring training. Let's go. You can even live with me. Come on.
I'll leave you tickets, dude.
Perfect. I'm coming. Right behind the dugout.
Well, listen, pal. Best of luck, man. We appreciate you taking some time to come on our show right here, and we'll stay in touch. And if we can ever do anything to help you, let us know.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Good to see y'all.
Great to meet you. Great to meet you.
Hey, tell your brother good luck.
I will. Thank you.
And tell your mom and dad hello and tell them thanks for doing such a wonderful job with 3 wonderful kids.
Thank you so much.
That's the legacy right there.
Wraps up another Gabbing with Gibby, and what a great guy, Gibby. You were saying how much of a great guy he is, and he proved that today.
Yeah, Dev's one of my all-time favorite, not just players, people, right? He was a tremendous baseball player. He just got bit by the injury bug, and I mean that happens to some guys. And I always thought, I always said he was going to be an all-star. And I truly believe that, but the body just didn't hold up long enough for him. But he's one of those guys that is going to be successful in life. No, it doesn't matter what he's doing. He's just his mom and dad did a tremendous job raising him. He comes from a great family, and he's got his priorities set, so he's going to do fine. But you know what? That sucker could hit. That's all I can tell you.
And the mutual respect that you have for each other is really, really cool to see. And that was a great Gabbing with Gibby. Thanks for bringing him on, John. Well, inspired by our friends at Miller Lite, it is time for today's roast and toast. Gibby, in honor of the person that we're toasting this week, I've decided to bypass the traditional Gibby show roast, and I want to go right to an extended toast, if that's okay. In honor of the person we're... I've known this man for 42 years, meeting him when he was just 18, when we were roommates. He is a first-round draft pick, and me as a young rookie baseball executive for the 1981 Class A affiliate of the New York Mets, the Shelby Mets, or as some people unaffectionately called it, Helby, the Helby Mets. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard that many a time.
We could do a whole show on Helby. We certainly could.
God, we do a reality show.
Exactly. Throughout the years, I followed his career closely. I got to remain friends with him, and later on, over the past few years, I got to be privileged really to work with him on helping out with the memoir, and had the extreme pleasure of doing this podcast with him since September 2022. He's a straight shooter, always tells it like it is. The respect he has from those in baseball is earned because of the way he lives his life and has lived his career. From a gritty, no-nonsense kid with dreams of becoming a big leaguer to a manager who always had the backs of his players and not afraid to speak his mind to some of the various personalities that he managed over the years, everyone will tell you Gibby was the best. So in honor of this individual, this week's Inspired by Miller Lite toast goes out to none other than John Gibbons.
Oh, God. This must be a slow week or something. Who are we looking for? Is he? What are you talking about? No, Johnny, I appreciate that, man. I really do. Yeah, it's. I've had a blast. We're getting the end of the season here. It's been a great year for the show. A lot of good things have happened, and it's been a way for us to stay connected to our fan bases, and yeah, it's been pretty cool.
It's always fun. It was fun. It's been a
So
really
thank
cool
you.
season. Oh, you're quite welcome. I mean, I speak from my heart, and you know somebody for such a long period of time, and of course, we didn't stay in touch all the time, but I do remember when Jordan was trying to get some doors open here in Nashville, and what a wonderful person she is, and a great songwriter, and that kind of brought us a little closer together as
that's
we
right.
got to reacquaint
And you helped
ourselves.
her out, yeah.
Did what I could. I mean, it's a tough business, as we know, and it's not easy. Just like the baseball business, sometimes it could be even more difficult to get a break.
I think it's tougher. Exactly.
Yeah,
so
it is. So and then we started doing some projects together, and now I'm like, with this potential opportunity for me, it's kind of like, for me, it's almost like a dream come true for you, because that team has always been my team. And to see your career as it unfolds, and hopefully, we'll, when there is an official announcement, we'll make sure we get it out to the fans.
Corner booths, sticky floors, weekdays that feel like weekends. You never forget the way some things taste. Miller Lite, great taste, 90 calories. Tastes like Miller time.
So I want to thank you for really entertaining us each and every week here, and getting to be the consummate social media darling.
Hey, yeah. Who knows where we all end up, but it's been great. You still got your wrestling podcast going on, I know. People ought to check that out.
I don't really talk about that much, but I would like to today. I mean, this is going to wrap up this edition of the Gibby Show. By the way, I do want to thank our executive producer on the Gibby Show, Mark Milliere, and our creative director, Chris Sabunia. You could find me on Twitter and Instagram at John Arezzi, and if you are a fan of pro wrestling, I have a pretty storied history in that. I have two other podcasts. One is called John Arezzi's Pro Wrestling Spotlight, going back 30 years to cover the radio show I did 30 years ago, and Matt Memories from Madison Square Garden, and that takes you back 50 years to the mecca of all wrestling arenas, talking about the history there as well. And I have a book, Matt Memories, My Wildlife in Pro Wrestling, Country Music, and With the Mets, and that's available everywhere. But anyway, Gibby, as always, for John Gibbons, this is John Arezzi. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Miller Lite. I want to thank Tim Hortons. And I especially want to thank the man that I'm looking at right now, my friend John Gibbons. And thank you, everybody, for listening to The Gibby Show.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Thanks, Johnny.